Dialogue flow. So far, we have learned about ways to build empathy, make requests, and make decisions together. This lesson is going to touch upon a skill that is more subtle but is vitally important, which is to exercise your presence in a dialogue. Oftentimes, when we have a conversation, we get immersed in processing what's being said, thinking about what to say next, or get carried away by the energy of the conversation that we rarely step back to notice how the dialogue is flowing. Even if we notice the dialogue flow going south, we rarely have the presence to redirect the flow so that there is more understanding and connection, or that there is a purposeful direction to the conversation. Sometimes in a conflict, we may have all the resources and intentions to resolve it, but a resolution may not be reached simply because of a poor dialogue flow. In this lesson, we'll be exploring ways to apply our presence to direct and facilitate a smooth dialogue flow to improve the chances of a conflict resolution. So let's start this lesson by checking out a conversation between my husband and me. So Brendan,
Yes.
can I talk to you about something really important?
Yep.
So I've noticed again that there are those dirty dishes and pots in the sink.
Yeah.
And I'm quite.
When was
it's like,
this?
I'm just now like
Right.
I see the dirty dishes and
Yeah.
the pots and I'm just a bit sick and tired of like seeing them constantly. It's your job to try to get it done, and
Right.
and I really need you to to
Well,
just stay
things
on
are
top of it.
things are
And-
busy. I'm pretty busy.
Yeah, I understand, but you remember we decided that it was your responsibility to look after that, and it's not even that. Like, there's like stuff on the
I
table.
mean,
all
it's
the
not
time,
the only thing on my
and-
list of things to do.
Yeah,
like,
but
I got
there's
lots
like
of-
all this dirty
Yeah, but
stuff on the table.
That's
that we
not
need
not
to
all that
clean
is
up,
my stuff.
and,
Some of that's your stuff.
like
Right.
that's not the point. Like the point is that I'm living in this clutter, and it's just like this,
But
and then the, and,
so
and
I was
on
cleaning
top of
outside
that is-
like all day, like
and,
cleaning up
like-
all that stuff,
and
and
even like
maybe
the
they could sit
floor
there for a
has
little
got
bit.
like dust all over, and it's just like I'm living in this filth.
I just think maybe it's okay
We've gotta do
they stay there
something
for a little
about
bit.
this.
Okay,
It's
just
like
a little
constant.
bit,
And
like-
you remember that last time when you said that you were going to look after Issei, and you didn't even do that. Like you just never
know when
keep
you-
to
when
like the
was that?
words that you promised something.
I
And
think you just
don't
keep
do
piling things
anything.
and things up. Like if it's about the dishes, that's fine. But I mean,
It's just like too many things. Like I don't know what to do. So what did you think? This dialogue didn't seem to flow very smoothly, did it? If this conversation were a dance, we would be bumping into each other, tripping over each other's foot, and not being in sync with each other in a movement. So a dialogue is like a dance. When the dancers first move through their dance, they need to understand their partner first. How much strength and flexibility does my partner have? How much force does my partner push with? Or how high can my partner jump? Upon understanding each other's skills and styles, they are then able to move together through a more intricate and dynamic dance sequence. And as they dance together, at each step of the dance, the dancers are with each other, ensuring that their partner is with them at every step of the way. And sometimes in a dance sequence, one may lead the other dancer, and at other times, the same dancer may receive the lead of the other. As they switch between leading and receiving, each dancer takes turns in who holds the center of gravity. Now, while what I described is what it takes to dance well with a partner or in a group, a good dialogue has all of these components as well. Now, conversation is not choreographed beforehand like a dance, but when it's good, it has a flow like a well choreographed dance. So let's explore how we can take part in creating this flow in a dialogue. So in order to create a smooth flow in a dialogue, it's important to pay attention to where we are in a conversation. Now, there are essentially two main intentions to a conversation for conflict resolution. One is relational. This is addressing our observations, feelings, and needs to develop understandings between each other. The other is logistical, which is addressing practical matters and strategies for problem solving. Now, before discussing the logistical matters, a dialogue that flows well ensures that there is sufficient understanding of each other's needs and feelings, establishing the relational component of the conversation. This is because without it, the solutions that we come up with may not get to the heart of our needs or may be limited in options. This is like understanding each other's skills and styles before moving through a dance sequence together. They need to understand each other well, perhaps through simpler movements before transitioning together into more intricate and dynamic sequence. If they jump too quickly to the latter without understanding each other, the dance can fall apart. So a good transition between the two is necessary. Similar to a dance, a good flowing dialogue needs to have a quality in the transition from relational to logistical. So we need to ask ourselves, sometimes explicitly, do we have all the information that we need? Are we both clear about the needs that are present? Is there an overall sense of feelings heard or understood from both parties? Often in conversations, I see the mistake of many people, including myself, jumping to problem solving without properly understanding each other's needs, which often stifles the quality of the conversation and the outcomes. It requires an acute presence to notice this and go, wait a minute, can we ensure that we have understood each other's needs first to bring the conversation back? This kind of presence and facilitation to bring it back if necessary are super important, and we can all get better at it with practice. And the second aspect that is key to creating a good dialogue flow is to check if we are really with each other at every step of the conversation. For this, there are two skills that we can practice. First is in redirecting when others are splintering in a conversation. Splintering is when one jumps to problem solving before sufficient understanding is developed, which I just talked about in the last slide. And it's also when one introduces new content before completing what is being discussed. So, for example, you may be having a conversation with your parent and they might go, why is it that your grade is going down? I see that you're not working as hard as you have in the past. And as you start to explain yourself, they might go, oh, and the last time I asked you to wash the dishes, why did you not do it? So you will notice splintering for those whose mind is racing at 100 kilometers an hour, but also for those who are more interested in blaming and judging others rather than really resolving an issue. So in a dance sequence, it's like your partner getting ahead of others in a dance sequence. So when that happens, it's important to redirect them. For this, it's good to first affirm what's being said, like, I'm really glad that you bring that up, or I want to discuss that too. And then state your desire to return to and finish something else by saying, and I'd like to touch upon a few more things about X first, or and there's something else important I'd like to look at first. This skill also requires a great presence to notice what's happening rather than being swallowed into the conversation. Now, the second skill to ensure that we are with each other at every step of the conversation is to close the loop. To ensure that at each step there is an overall sense of feelings heard or understood from both parties, it's great to paraphrase our understandings before responding. You can say, so what I heard is this, or can I check if I heard you correctly before sharing your ideas? Then it's also good to close the loop and complete the cycle before moving on to a new topic or before transitioning. This can take the form of checking with each other if everything that needs to be said about a certain topic has been shared, or to summarize what has been discussed to come to a closure and ensure mutual understanding before moving on to the next topic. Lastly, in order to create a good dialogue flow, it's important to pay attention to who has the center of gravity of the conversation. In a dance, it's about figuring out who has the floor. This skill is about paying attention to when to speak and when to listen, and sensing which person most needs to be heard in any given moment. When sensing that others need to talk, it's vital to give the space for them to do so and listen openly. However, it's not only the job of a listener to understand those who need to share. In order to make themselves understood to others, it's important that the speakers speak succinctly. The shorter and more to the point each phrase is, the easier it is for others to understand it. People tend to switch off when others are being overly verbose. They can take the center of gravity, but they cannot completely take over as it's not a solo dance. The skill to sense who has the center of gravity in a conversation also requires practice of presence in the moment, because it's about sensing the energy that flows in the room rather than something that is more overt and tangible. So, at this point, let's check out a short conversation between my husband and me that applies these skills to create a dialogue flow. So, Vernon,
Yes.
can I talk to you about something
Yeah.
really important to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
So, I noticed again that there's dirty dishes and pots in the sink.
Right.
And
Yeah.
this hasn't been the first time that this has happened.
Uh-huh.
And I was wondering if you can do something about like maybe you can explain what's going on.
So yeah, I guess I was just really tired last night. I rinsed them off, but I didn't get around to washing them before I got too tired.
Oh yeah, and I noticed that there's also stuff on the table.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
there's-
So first things first. Let's go back and let's talk about the washing up.
Okay.
So I was just really tired, and I just didn't get around to it.
Yeah. I can understand that you're tired. What do you think? What was going on last night that, you know?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty hard. I'm usually pretty good. I know I forget sometimes, but I was, in the evening time, there's only a window of time between, like, things have been hard at work. There's only a certain window of time between when I get home to when the kids go to bed, and I kind of want to hang out with you guys at that point, as well. And last night I just couldn't balance it.
So what you're saying is that, like, there's a lot going on, and
Yeah.
you want to make sure to have some time to spend with a family.
Yeah, I guess
And-
it's the two things. Like,
and-
it's that. It's one is there's. I don't want to be washing up during the precious time that I get after coming home and then going to bed. So I usually leave it till the morning, and I forgot.
Yeah, but you also said you were tired.
Yeah, I
so-
was tired too. Yeah.
So you were probably needing some rest, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, in that case, yeah. I also know, I know it's important to you. I know you'll hear more than I am.
Yeah.
Why is it a big? I don't know. Let me understand more about why it's a big issue, because it
think
doesn't
it's
seem as big for me.
Yeah, I think it's just that like you said, I am here more,
Yeah.
and I think I really want to be living in a space and working in a space that's clean and has order. And I guess it's also just the uncertainty of it that really bothers me. So
Right.
if I know that the dishes will get done, I think the certainty will help me
You mentioned.
manage.
I think I understand that. You mentioned other stuff as well, other things piling up.
Yeah.
Is that contributing? Is like
I think
that's a
that's-
different thing, but
yeah.
is it part of the picture as well?
I think so. I think
Right.
it's just my need for order.
So the order and the uncertainty, like bring
Certainty,
certainty to
yeah,
that.
cleanliness,
Okay.
those are things I want. And so, what do you think we can do?
Okay. So I don't know. I guess I can try, like, I don't know how this will work, but I could try. Is that if we get the kids to bed, I'm usually tired at that point, but I could try. I think I haven't tried it for a while, so maybe for the next week or so I could try and do it in the evenings. But also I guess I need a bit of leeway because I don't want to, there might be times where I can't. And I don't, I would like to, and sometimes I can't. And I don't really want a police state at home where I'm worried that you're going to be checking on it. So I know it's important to you, but I might need the odd bit of understanding that sometimes I just can't do it. And I do it in the morning.
So maybe if you are tired and you can't do it, do you think you can just let me know and then just say I will do it in the morning?
Yeah, that's better than having you notice.
Because I think like the certainty of that is going to help me.
Okay, I can appreciate that.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start that now.
Tonight, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Are you just trying to do it in the evening?
I'm going to try and do it in the evening.
If you're tired,
I'll talk to you about it.
You can just let me know.
Yeah, and if you can meet me with a little bit of understanding at that point, maybe it can work differently, and we'll see how it goes. We can chat about it again.
Okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Is that okay?
In summary, in this lesson, we explored ways to apply our presence to facilitate a good flow in a dialogue. We can apply our presence to ensure that we are sufficiently developing understandings before moving on to problem solving. We can apply our presence to redirect when splintering occurs or close the loop before moving on to a new topic. We can apply our presence to sense who needs to be heard at any given moment. Practicing this presence can be tricky, especially when we are having emotional conversations. This is why it's so important to pause and breathe during conversations. Also, what can help to develop this presence is a daily mindfulness practice. So if you have been absent from engaging in a regular mindfulness practice, this is a good time to go back to it. Keep practicing because we get better at it with practice. Best wishes to you all.